Courage is kind of the mental or moral strength to persevere in the face of difficulties. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, it is the ability to do something that you know is difficult or dangerous. Hey everybody, I want to talk to you about something that you might not think of as a principle of freedom today, and it is courage. Now, I want you to think about that a minute while I kind of review why we started doing WYO Conservative. It was to teach and inspire, to provoke people to think kind of outside of that elite politician rhetoric and disdain for us deplorables, just to get us thinking again about the principles that founded America and why they're so important and why they're so timeless. So let's talk about courage. What is it? Courage is kind of the mental or moral strength to persevere in the face of difficulties. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, it is the ability to do something that you know is difficult or dangerous. So, lots of things come to mind when we start talking through that. In the political realm, I want us to think about a few things in the category of courage demonstrated. What does that look like in the political arena? Well, first of all, it's a willingness to stand by your personal values and your principles. You know that politics is difficult, and unfortunately, politics combined with power and greed often corrupts people, and they don't stand by their principles or their beliefs. So courage is what keeps us able to do that, to stand by those things even in the face of difficult times, difficult decisions. And the willingness to stand for what is right and just. That's another part of being courageous politically. In the political context of our state and nation right now, everything is topsy-turvy, and we're seeing people struggle to stand for what truly is right and just according to American principles of freedom and liberty. Here's something that courage can be, and it's the willingness not to follow the crowd. Unfortunately, in our day and age, we're watching the crowd kind of go a million different directions away from what has been the traditional beauty of America and our system of government. And we're seeing huge expansion, we're seeing huge federal overreach, and sometimes politicians are called upon, and those of us who are maybe not actively in politics, but are engaged in community and culture, we're called upon to not follow the crowd. We need to know what is popular in the moment is not always truly what is right. Now, if you question that, I want you to think about a couple of things. It may be popular to do drugs. What do we as parents tell our teenagers and our middle school children? Just say no, don't do it. Why? Because it's bad for you. It ends up with bad consequences, crimes, addictions, death. The lives of many are destroyed. So what is popular isn't always right. And being courageous means willing to not stand for those things, not to participate. Here's another thing to think about. What is old or traditional is not always wrong, and it does not always need to be changed. There's a lot of outcry right now to change our Constitution, to get rid of it. It's outdated, old-fashioned. Again, we need to pause. We need to think courageously and act courageously and understand what we're dealing with as far as the American Constitution, and really look at it for the timeless principles that are within it to allow us to be free. Let's think about courage as a lifestyle. What does that take in the American mindset, in the American experience? It's a condition of the heart, is what I would propose. You live courageously by the choices that you make in your heart. Those choices to be true to what you believe and who you've discovered yourself to be, those choices to take those stands I mentioned earlier, and the choices to take risks against the odds. That has always been a part of American culture, to try the untried, to do the unique, to explore, discover, experiment. But we've always done it within a context of doing what is right for our population, too. For me and for many Wyomingites, I think that courage is one of the fundamentals of personal liberty. It is just something that we have built our lives on. We've been courageous explorers of the West and living in rugged conditions. So I think courage is inbred into most of us who grew up out in the West. I have a question for you now. What courageous stands do we need to take in this day and hour for the survival of our freedom as we've known it? It's being challenged right now, and each of us is going to have to answer that question for ourselves.